Hello and welcome back here to the desk powered by Xfinity for our Heroes of the Storm North American Regional, as we are going to get into our decider match for the group, and it will be a rematch, Gilly, between Astral Authority and Panda Global.
Yeah, it's a rematch from yesterday, and one of the best series from yesterday, I would say, too, between these two teams. Panda Global took game number 1, but Astral was able to bring it back, and in the past, when these two have matched up, especially in the second qualifier for this event, it was Panda who took it.
Right. And we are into the draft already, so let's get on with it as Astral Authority banning out Kale Fast, and then we have Panda Global banning out Illidan, and we have Tastar as a first pickup. Surprise, surprise. That's quite a good first pickup, I would say.
That happened every single game from this series yesterday between these two. They highly prioritized getting that first pick of Tassadar. While now Panda Global, they're going to grab Thrall and Muradin, two heroes we've been seeing a lot of today.
Yeah, and overall, I'm kind of surprised that Thrall is that high up here for them, but the thing is about these two teams is they really do have their own little flair, and they're not afraid to kind of go balls to the wall anyway. So it's nice to see that this does come out. I would like to see where Greymane is going to be eventually on towards this. If Panda Global went for him later on, that could be a super impressive front line because he synergizes really nicely with Muradin at the moment. But what do you think Astral Authority is going to go for here?
They'll definitely want something for Equinox eventually. It may be Sonya, looking at the fact that they already have Tassadar here. But let's not forget, Astral Authority yesterday, when they got Tassadar, put Tracer for Equinox, and that's what they did. Now, seeing Sonya, that doesn't necessarily mean they wouldn't do it. Normally, Equinox is the Sonya player, but there have been times when Talking Trees has played Sonya too. Okay, so definitely variety, but whoa, that is it's almost like a pseudo Illidan comp of old, right? Because Sonya at the moment, she doesn't die, and then when you've got Tastar and Rehgar behind her, she's definitely double not going to die. I don't know if that's a thing, but double not dying, I'm okay with that for Sonya. Just very, very alive.
Very alive, yeah.
Well, we're going in the next set of bans, and ETC will be the ban, of course, looking at the fact that Panda Global already has their warrior, but this is something I talked about a lot yesterday. Collusion, the warrior player for Astral Authority, has a very large hero pool of warriors he can play really well. He's been playing a lot of good Arthas. I've seen great Tyraels from him before, and of course, Johanna is still available to help with the wave player on Dragonshire.
We saw them use a lot of a little bit of Anubarak yesterday as well. Is that possible here for Astral Authority down the line, do you think?
Potentially, if they want to try to, I like that Greymane ban a lot, actually.
Oh yeah, I do too.
But it's definitely a possibility, and we saw a lot of Anubarak too from Brain Power, so he's definitely a hero that's been popping up a lot more for a lot of these teams. Yeah, the Greymane ban, very, very nice here. It's looked strong in past games, not necessarily there for Tempo Storm. Actually, no, it wasn't Tempo Storm, it was Panda Global that had it. But for Tempo Storm in their first game against Panda Global, didn't look too healthy. But he's very, very viable, very valid currently, especially with the amount of damage he can pump out with Executioner coupled up with a Muradin going in deep and then slowing them down. It's brutal. Som has really been working on that hero, and it showed in that last game. He is fantastic. And already Greymane with Thrall, that is a very scary combo. Once the Sundering comes out, his ability to go for the throat, find whomever is low off of that Sundering and not allow the team to regroup, it can be a huge problem for a team. And there's the potential that they could have gone Uther with that as well. So he would have had a Divine Shield available to him as well, and then it's bad news bears really at that point, I suppose. Oh, I'm a happy guy. I'm already a happy guy. I sit up here for my first cast of the tournament, and I get to see my Karazim. They knew the European was here.
I'm okay with that.
Karazim is something that Panda Global have been playing and practicing with quite a bit. They're also grabbing Sylvanas, who is a comfort pick for the team. Sylvanas is going to help them be able to bring down structures better. They can either split push off of getting a Dragon Knight, or of course make it so the Dragon Knight takes less damage because the structures are shut down. Helps bring down a Sonya as well. Sometimes. Unfortunately, whenever she's able to get really far in and she's whirlwinding and causing you issues, but having that Wailing Arrow on towards her can help out in some of those situations. So it's definitely something that they have to consider as well. Even Rehgar too, the Ancestral Healing. Time that right, be able to burst somebody down, especially with the Sundering that they have now too. They have this great ability to engage quickly and take someone out in that time. Maybe even with 7-sided Strike. Oh, I'd be even happier at that point. That would be great. But Astral, just thinking about their choices at the moment, they want to mix in some damage for sure. What do you think could be a good go-to here for them? knowing Astral, it kind of depends, right? So they're a little bit flex. They like playing Li Ming. If they wanted to pick up Li Ming here, then they would put Frozen X on the Tassadar, whereas normally it's Talking Trees who plays Tass.
Are you surprised there's been no Zul forward movement here from either of the teams?
Yeah, absolutely. And Frozen X is one who plays him, so that is another definite, a good call out to say a possibility for them.
Well, they are just thinking about it at the moment. And we will see what they're going to pick up. I would love to see Azul personally, but it's going to be HotS and Tracer. So they're leaving it to the very, very end. And it will be picked up. And to be fair, you know, as much as I'm a skeptical person when it comes to Tracer, but Astral Authority did have some good execution with it yesterday.
They did, and it was when it was paired with Tassadar. They played another game, I believe. No, we saw one later where they made it work without a Tassadar. A team did, but the Tassadar Tracer is really where you want it. Equinox will play Tracer like Zeratul, and that means, like I said before, we should see Talking Trees on Sonya, but again, they have a lot of flexibility between Frozen X and Trees. We're looking for one more pick from Panda Global, and they already have a support. Duranda is still available if they want a second support, and that is something that Jason plays quite a bit, especially with Karzim.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and think about this a little bit more. It's difficult to end up, as well as, you know, when Astral Authority actually leaves Tracer to the very end, it's very difficult to pick up something that's like, oh, they've picked a Tracer, what do we use to counter that? She actually doesn't have that many counters because she is so highly mobile. It's very difficult to end up locking her down or anything. But Reina!
Ooh!
All right, then.
It's our first Rainer of the tournament.
I'm always scared when I see Reina.
Oh, why is that?
Because I think it's rubbish. But
Executioner buffs.
Yes, yes.
And plus, you put Seasoned Marksman. If you build up those stacks, Dragonshire has lanes that are close together, so you can rotate easier between the lanes, try to build up Seasoned Marksman. And once you have Seasoned Marksman and Executioner, if you can proc that, which there's a few things that they'll be able to proc it off of, then it's basically like having Berserk or Old Berserk plus the Executioner.
I actually think if I have to sit here and theorize for just a moment, he's actually not a bad answer to Tracer, because some of the things that Tracer excels at is getting towards your backline and trying to kill them very, very quickly. But Reina having a little bit of extra sustain himself and also penetrating around is something that is just instant. Like, there's no real wind up to it. You can sometimes hit her if she is going that far deeper to hit you. I think it's actually not a bad pickup against Tracer. Do you concur? Or?
Yeah, well, and definitely looking at Sonya too, there's the potential to be able to stun her out quite often from being able to Whirlwind, but here are the teams.
All right, let's get into it. Dragonshire for our decider match to see who moves on to the round of 4. We have Dark Chimera on Rehgar, Talking Trees on Tassadar, Equinox will be playing Tracer, Killusion on Arthas, and Frozen X on Sonya. And then over to the other side, of course, Panda Global with Yuge on Karazim, Jason on Sylvanas. Sam will be playing Reina, Cladius on Thrall, and finally B-Kid on Muradin. Let's get into game number 1 here of this best of 3.
All right, here we are on Dragonshire. Now, of course, consideration for both teams is trying to control the rotations. It can be very difficult to pick up the Dragon Knight because you have to have control really of all 3 lanes and at least the middle of them. So we'll be seeing how they set up in the lanes, who maybe has to go for that solo lane position. And
of course, something that we haven't seen too much of in recent times, whilst you guys can also vote on Twitter for who you think is going to be winning out this game. Make sure to hashtag HGC as well as the team you think is going to win here moving forwards in this series. But coming back to my Reina point, is that Seasoned Marksman, since we've seen him out of meta for quite a while, it has had that change. It's had that way you're able to proc it and gain extra attack speed, which is something that's extremely powerful for someone like a Reina when he has so much attack speed to begin with, and also even the range later on down the line, which becomes very, very difficult to do.
Absolutely, and that's why I think that we're going to see him be in this rotation from mid to bot, and that is where he is. He's going to start going down, and they're the ones Panda Global controlling the initial part of this rotation, thanks to having Jason here with Sylvanas. And you can see B-Kid being kind of aggressive, trying to slow down the follow rotation from Astral Authority, but they're going to look to maybe do the same. There's a lot of contention and standing, trying to find picks in those middle bushes. Yeah,
they're always safe here throughout this, as long as they are rotating with one another, unless something absolutely wild goes on. But Colossal Tome will be the choice to start things off for Chimera, which is something is a little less common, but Killusion, wow, going very, very deep here towards Farm, and he is going to go down there, so that was already proc. That's first blood. Going over to Astral Authority.
First blood, and that does slow down not only the rotations a little bit for Panda Global, but the Seasoned Marksman stacking. The further that they can do that, the longer they delay from him being able to get that activatable ability, the better off they will be.
Yeah, I like your analysis on that. That's really on point. It's very, very annoying if you do get shut down like that. And if I wouldn't be surprised if they were on to focus on him later. Jason going quite low. That's going to be a very early Dragon Knight. Oh my god, Astral Authority, a great pickup to start.
Okay, so this is a super early Dragon Knight, which means it's going to go down pretty quickly. So what they're looking for is to just siege whatever they can. You can see him going ham, making sure to take down that tower. And it'll start to work on another one. As many towers as they can get to further that experience that they've already gained.
Yeah, the fork kicking in a little bit faster for them is great. It's going to be Death Coil to start things off for Arthas. My favorite build on Arthas. There are a few variations, but
Death Coil one.
I love the Death Coil one. And especially when you get towards level 16 later on, you're healing for like, you can be healing for like 1,000 plus health. It's amazing.
That plus Army of the Dead, as long as Collusion doesn't get like body block too hard, stun too much, then he'll be able to get out. But he's having trouble right now with that.
Talking about body blocks.
Yeah, you'll get taken down. So a Panda Global firing back with a kill of their own.
Very well done. And we will just see it stabilize for now. But of course, they have had a little bit of momentum taken out of Panda Global sales, other than taking out that kill with the slight experience lead here from Astral Authority. And of course, they don't have to be worried about any threats of shrines being contested. Meanwhile, up to the top, it is just Sonya versus Thrall. You don't need to pay attention for that for a while. They'll be sitting there for a bit.
The age-old fight between Sonya and Thrall really just comes into play if someone tries to rotate and doesn't play fair. This is something that happened when these guys played each other last time, is they got Arthas, and they brought Arthas up here, and then they blew up Sonya a couple of times. And so Frozen X staying safe, they know that that is the potential the minute somebody goes off, that a Howling Blast comes out.
Yush gonna get out of there, and he won't be popped in the end. Will base and get himself on the way. Very, very scary, though. Again, the thing is that when you're going up against a comp like Astral Authorities, you have to be always wary of where Tracer is on the minimap, because she can be still quite far away from you, but then still have huge kill potential off the back of even just a Howling Blast.
Something they're really good at doing with Tracer is just drawing focus one place, and then while you're focused there, doing something else. And that's with Sonya and Tracer. They're going to be trying to do that in the fights. In the last game where we saw Equinox playing Tracer, there were a lot of those pulse bombs missed. But as you can see already, that he's getting a stride, and he's stuck a lot more of those. And that's more indicative of how he was playing her yesterday.
And of course, if you are, obviously Tracer being one of the newer heroes, if you're a little bit unfamiliar with their talent choices currently going forward in some of these more professional level matches, Pulse Strike, Parting Gift, and Spatial Echo, are the things that you really want to be going for, especially that level 7. Giving you 2 more Blink charges once you've actually used Recall is absolutely fantastic.
And what you follow up with it is Pulse Rounds at level 10, and then the Bullet Spray at 13. And the idea of this Tracer build is to just have your Pulse Bomb up constantly, sticking people and being able to blow them up.
Jason taking a little bit of damage. He will Haunting Wave away, but Equinox still on his heels, and he is going in deep for that one.
Hazard's going for this. Are they going to get a second Dragon Knight? There goes Beacon with an aggressive Dwarf Toss, just barely stalls it out, but they're again going to stop him, and a Howling Blast comes out. Yes, B-Kid stopped the Dragon Knight, but does he pay for it with his life?
He should be doing, and Equinox will get him at the very, very end there. Huge coming in just their later moments of that, so can't really throw any heals on towards him, but here's another kill going towards Astral Authority, whilst the eternal struggle up towards the top continues.
Forever and ever until someone else decides to come hang out, which is exactly what Equinox has done. He sticks Palladius, and with those Parting Gift bombs, Thrall is eliminated.
I love watching Equinox on Tracer. I saw him yesterday, and he was doing really well on it, especially in that game 2 against Panda Global. And now here once again. The thing is, it might force a ban towards the second game, to be honest with you, because it's looking really strong right now.
But what I have said before is a lot of it comes into the shielding that allows Equinox to be so aggressive with this. So Tassadar is huge for them, which is why we saw him so highly prioritized in the draft, and that was all the way through the games between both of these teams. So we could potentially even see a ban on him too to try to stop this.
Yeah, that can work as well. As Astral Authority going to rotate up top, they have their 10s now on in, with of course Force Ball, Pulse Bomb, that Legion, Wrath, as well as Ancestral Heal. Kicking away Jason, and they can still do a lot of damage here. Trees, there's a lot of health left on that Dragon Knight.
Sometimes I wonder if on something like this we would see Syndragosa. That used to be a really big deal. Specifically on Dragon Knight, it was one of the maps that we'd see it a lot with. Use that in conjunction with the Dragon Knight, but still Collusion wanting to make sure that he is as tanky as he can be, and knowing that the heals, the shields, they're going to really be focused on keeping Sonya and Tracer up and healthy and brawling.
We saw Syndragosa yesterday, if I recall. Did we? In one game?
Maybe.
But
I didn't think so, but again, there are a lot of games.
I'm getting old, so maybe my memory isn't what it is. But it definitely has its purposes, for sure. To be able to shut down those buildings, to actually cause a lot of disruption. Sam, speaking of disruption, he's almost going down. That's a great force wall to split him off, and it will guarantee the kill. If that force wall didn't come in, he would have been able to escape.
Yeah, self-healing is great, but Howling Blast is going to come down. There is a cleanse to get Beacon out of it, but they still lose Sylvanas. Meanwhile, though, Tracer does get taken out. It's always a great feeling to finally bring down Tracer.
We finally killed her.
Yay! But yeah,
no more recall.
That's something that you see a lot with Raynor is, yes, he has self-heal, but the escapes are just not really anything. So your positioning is just so important, and force walls, of course, can all of a sudden turn good positioning into bad positioning.
Yeah, they haven't been able to make proper use of that Hyperion yet on the Raynor either, because they just haven't been in a position to assault any kind of structural integrity on the side of Astral Authority. So it's not got much use yet, but they do have Hyperion, Wailing Arrow, Palm, Avatar, as well as this Sundering. So let's see if they're going to be able to make use of it in a bit.
So now with trying to get some mercenaries on the board, trying to push back some of the lanes that have been pushed toward them. A great thing for Astral Authority is because they've been commanding all of these Dragon Knights and staying ahead in the lane push, Sylvanas hasn't been able to do as much for Panda Global as you would normally.
It's interesting to see the rematch again, as we say, because Panda Global, you know, they've had a bit more insight since their previous series against them. But you mentioned it before we even came on cast. Astral Authority were able to sit back and watch that entire series unfold, despite them coming off a loss.
Yes.
So it's like it's a 50-50 thing, but being able to study your opponents is a big deal in this game.
Yeah, and Panda Global was coming off of a win, but they just had to play.
Right.
And they've even been dealing with a couple of members being ill and coming into this event. So there's just so many factors that come into tournament play, even after the draft and after your individual play.
This is quite a strong push. Thankfully, they have Sylvanas on their side that can slow this down a little bit, because if they did not, those 4 mercenaries would have done so much damage towards that wall. Good hold there by Panda Global, but not easy to take a fight just yet, because 13 is on the side of Astral.
Astral are going to start to rotate up. These bruisers have been doing damage to the towers, and now with them out of ammo, they really want to take those out before giving more experience to Panda. Also, with the Dragon Knight available, this is a great spot for Astral Authority, but they still don't want to make sure they get too spread out from each other, because they have the lead. They're the ones who want to make sure they're not being too risky.
And with Frigid Winds now coming in for Arthas, Panda Global has to be a little bit careful about how they take fights. Obviously, Monk is a healer that is very focused on being in melee range, but when he is, he needs to make damn sure that he has a charge of his dash away if he gets in that situation, because he will be slowed heavily by Arthas along with the rest of his melee brethren.
That's also the attack speed slow too.
Right.
So you're looking at Raynor, Kharazim, Thrall, but Kharazim, attack speed slow on your healer who needs to punch people in order to heal things?
It's like a brilliant reverberation.
Yes.
It's a lovely reverberation. It's very strong, so got to be careful about this now. Panda Global has once again another Dragon Knight, and Trees is very calm about this, taking his time, biding it, and looks like they will force Cladius back there. I think even Cleanse was used on him already, so that doesn't give them any opportunity at the moment, Panda Global, to really extend forwards without a little bit of a scary spot.
60 seconds without cleanse, and they immediately back off. Yes, they have 13. Yes, this is the time they want to fight. And maybe as soon as they take down the Dragon Knight, we'll see them get very aggressive and hop back in once that's off the cooldown too. But still, this is a big window for Astral Authority. They're almost to 16.
Shows how important Cleanse is at this level. It's almost another heroic in this instance. It's so important once you're going up against a team that has a little bit of lockdown that is on their side, not huge amounts, but of course that Howling Blast, etc. are irritating.
I love that Astral, even though they still had some Dragon Knight left, just walked away.
Yeah,
they said, we have all of the control in this game. We are nearly 16. Why would we let them potentially find the fight that they want when we can just wait till 16 and control the next Dragon Knight phase?
It's a patient play. It's an almost European play, where we where we back off and don't fight and just chill.
You would be the expert in this.
I guess, yeah, a little bit, I suppose. But for now, they are going to move forwards here, and this times out really nicely from them. From their previous push with the mercenaries to the bottom, which was shut down by Sylvanas, if they're able to take this again and threaten, they can definitely take that wall.
16-2 to 13, that's such a huge lead, and of course, the Giants are about to pop up. They put that again, with the other Giants that are going to deal a lot of damage, they protect these, and they're looking at a lot more damage and experience for their lead that they have. But importantly, they're trying to open up a win condition too, and this bottom lane is a great place to do it.
And I feel on Panda Global's side, their win condition is try and survive until 20, because once they do, then Thrall and Reyna are going to gain a lot of value, but until then, they're not really that effective in these team fights. Equinox gets in there, and when he's able to do so much damage to Sylvanas, the follow-up was good as well with that. And that is great by Equinox.
Yeah, the palm actually missed, went on Yuge instead, just because, man, like when everyone's clumped up and you don't know where Equinox is at, it can make things very scary very quick. Hyperion's going to come out, but this keep's going to go down, and Collusion gets healed right back up.
They really needed to save this keep if they want to kind of scramble towards the later stages of this game, but it does go down, and that is a very big deal indeed. Now, we're going to see Astral Authority once again back off. They were so comfortable with their 2 giant camps that they really are not taking too many risks. As long as that Ancestral hits, they are totally fine.
Yeah, but Equinox going in and just finding a kill just randomly, and he was all over the place. You heard the like pew 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 of all of the blinks, and then he's got recall too. It's just impossible to try to catch him.
Yeah, very, very difficult, and it's really good to watch. Like, obviously there was people like me who are skeptical of Tracer play. When you're able to see some fantastic Tracer play, it is actually very scary. So good for Equinox to be pulling this out at the moment and really showing Panda Global a difficult time, because without that keep towards the bottom, not only is that lane always pushed in, but that even makes it harder to capture the shrine to the bottom, which then has the knock-on effects of not being able to get that Dragon Knight too easily.
Right. Panda Global saw that somebody from Astral was picking up the shrine in top. They started to move to the bottom. Then the bruisers get picked up. That's going to start to push that lane to make it harder to get that top shrine away from Astral. Astral moves to the bottom, gets the shrine, and another Dragon Knight. Every single Dragon Knight is Astral's.
They have been in full control in the driving seat at the moment, and all they need from this Dragon Knight is a wall. It doesn't matter. Like, Panda Global is still not level 16. They could have potentially threatened with a keep with this if they'd have just been a little bit forwards there. Equinox jumps in again, tries to get some damage onto Palm, but he does stick B-Kid in the end. And they're still looking for a little bit more damage here.
Oh, that Howling Blast was pretty big. Doesn't hit anybody too much. Sundering has come out, and the Dragon Knight goes down fast, but it's Talking Trees in there. He has Dimensional Shift to get away, and finally Panda Global get on the same level. But Hyperion was used, and Sundering were 2. Those are 2 fairly long cooldowns to have used in that.
And of course, with that level 16 previously having come in for them with its Embrace Death on the Arthur, so he's even more tanky and sturdy towards the front. And once level 20 hits, again, I keep talking about this, but Sonya will become an unkillable whirlwind machine, and it's very, very difficult for them to deal with. They need to find some experience somewhere, but Panda Global doesn't necessarily have the right comp to even start split soaking. So how are they supposed to catch up in this instance, in this game? It's very difficult.
Yeah, you see them, and they are sticking together as 5, and it's a frustrating point to be at. Astral Authority has kept command of everything. Panda can't even look at their Giants right now. Astral's basically like, if you look sideways at these Giants, we will find you, and we will kill you. And that's what they're trying to do.
Equinox going in again, putting some damage on towards Yuge, doesn't quite get too much done. Collusion tries to throw out Howling Blast just to catch them on the retreat out. They're almost playing this as if it's Blackheart's Bay. They are actually just PvEing to victory right now, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
They're in comfort.
Why not? If Panda's going to let them do it, they're just going to slowly eat away at the structures until they find. Eventually, they will have to kill people to get to the core, but 20 is a great opportunity for that.
Panda Global, no way to split soak to catch up in experience, no way to really force an engagement right now, realistically, unless you see like a Thrall flank come in. From what angle, every single lane is being occupied by their minions, so it's very difficult for them to even find an angle. This might be one, but it's not enough, I don't think. They'll just get out of there and run away.
They Collusion with these Howling Blasts and the Force
Sorry,
Wall.
guys. Shop's closed. Bye-bye.
What do you need a Mighty Gust for if you've got great Force Walls and Howling Blasts? You're just never going to catch them. And Astral, very fine to just sit back here and say, hey, you can attack, you can have a tower if you want. We'll just get 20 and then we'll kill you all.
Yeah, this is beautiful play by Astral Authority. This is actually the most convincing game I have seen of them in a long time right now. And they are bringing it to Panda Global so helpfully. The palm on towards Jason is useless. It's not going to do anything. They were expecting more pressure on towards him, but now they're still taking this fight. It is arguably one of the better times for Panda Global to fight, but Astral Authority is still in the driving seat.
Oh, that big Force Wall on Jason uses a Haunting Wave to get back, but still Raynor's going to go down with Equinox in the back. Down Yuge will fall too, and now they're approaching the point where they might just lose the game. That's 3 people down. That's it.
Equinox was on drive-by mode. He just popped someone and kept on going, and that's 4 down as B-Kid's going to jump on away, try and heal up, but they're going for core, killing that keep-off down towards the bottom, opened that up, they gained themselves 20. They didn't even need 20 to finish off this game, and that is Astral Authority with commanding presence here in game number 1.
They had control of that game from start to finish. 10 kills to 2, 20 to 17. Astral Authority wins game number 1 and are 1 game away from making it to the semifinals.
Yeah, and that's where it really starts to get serious at this point, because this is a tournament that, in my opinion, is very, very open right now for who potentially makes final, and then who maybe even has to go up against Cloud9 in a tiebreaker if they don't get to the final and then push on forward. So this is big deal right here. Big deal.
Yeah, especially because yesterday, Cloud9 lost their match versus Brainpower.
Right.
Naventic have won their group, which means Cloud9, even in getting second in the group, would go up against Naventic. So there is definitely the opportunity.
Exactly. That's the big thing. As you can see here, once again, the control from Astral Authority, almost securing themselves a kill, but they've always got an extra little follow-up. That wall was that follow-up, and Equinox, once again, darts on in. He loses his life for it, but it's a 2-for-1 trade. It's fine.
Yeah, the Equinox plays sticking the bombs, going in the back, finding somebody squishy, and just causing chaos. The distraction is so good from these teams who play Tracer really well like this. Distract in the front. All of a sudden, Equinox, before you know it, has hit the back. There's not even time for bomb.
So nice, so nice. And I've got to agree. The thing is that with that, you get in these situations in Heroes of the Storm where you have these respect bands come along. And when they do come along, if a team is so solid, like Astral Authority can be, and they go to something just a more stable composition, you end up banning out a Tracer. Okay, we'll pick up a normal meta hero, and then it'd be in such a good spot regardless. So that could occur here going on to Cursed Hollow.
You know, another thing I'm wondering about, I wanted to check it, but then the game-ending team fight broke out. Whether or not Raynor even got to hit his season marksman stacks, because they were just stuck.
Yeah, he had no room.
Yeah.
Not much room. Everything was focused around that, of course. Don't forget, guys, to make sure to hashtag HGC on Twitter, and even still vote for who you think is going to win this, although at the moment you might be slightly influenced towards Astral Authority because they looked really, really good in that game.
They did look great in that game, but they had a lot of their comforts. They had the task Tracer needed together, and it was great for that Battleground specifically. Next, it's going to be their Battleground choice, which means Panda Global will be first pick, and they may be able to influence the draft more from that position.
Yep, Panda Global has to pull something out a little bit more special here. Although it is Cursed Hollow, you can see a bit more variety in some of the compositions that you end up seeing. How common is Tyrael here? I know that both of us like our Tyrael.
I know, we do. We've had fights on Twitter about who likes him more.
We've literally had fights.
Along with Wolf.
Yeah. Yes, he's completely wrong. I mean, just let's put it that way. But anyway, is it something that you would see here in America? Like, does that come out from time to time, or?
I've seen Collusion play him a little bit.
Yeah.
But it is pretty rare.
Okay.
And one thing that I'm wondering if maybe we are going to see if they play it outright is Jason is a phenomenal Abathur player. I haven't seen him playing him as much, but he is a very good Abathur player. So potentially, that would be, I think, one of the things that they could pull out here on Cursed.
Yeah, and we even saw, I guess it was in the first series of the day, of course Astral didn't beat Naventic, but they were able to utilize an Abathur on, it was Towers, wasn't it, where we actually saw him even cloning Muradin over and over and over. And the kind of disruption that actually causes, you don't necessarily need to clone a big damage dealer to get the most out of Abathur. It was still very, very irritating for Naventic to deal with a Muradin clone.
Oh yeah, that's so many stuns, so many slows up in the front, and it can make it tough to get to the back line, but we're ready for this draft. Panda Global with first pick, first ban. Now, I've said it before, we've seen a lot of Kael'thas bans in Illidan too, but with Tassadar and how influential he's been to the compositions of Astral, do they switch it up here and ban Tassadar instead?
They may. They may. Of course, whilst we're getting into this, once again, a big thank you to Cybertron for powering this event as well, as we have the Tracer ban comes on in.
Even more direct.
Full respect coming out, and I'm not surprised considering the way Equinox played it that game.
Well, speaking of Equinox now, he also loves playing Illidan. And Cursed Hollow, their favorite map, because it's the best Illidan map. That's what they said to me. And so, will they ban him here, though, because they're not first pick? Potentially, Cladius could grab Illidan and play him instead. So I'm wondering if they say, do we take the risk? Do we hope maybe that we can get him, especially with Tassadar still being on the table too. They could be the ones to ban Kael'thas here and leave both Illidan and Tassadar up, but I'm not sure how that would work out for them.
How terrifying would that be, though, on Panda Global side? It's like, do we take one of them away, or do we actually just let them go? At that point, you actually can't let Astral Authority take both. That would be utterly sickening. But we'll see what they want to go for at the moment. They are taking the sweet time about this, and I can understand it will be the Kael'thas, so they are opening that potential.
Okay, so something similar happened like this in the Super League, and what happened was the first pick team, which was MVP Black, ended up grabbing Tassadar, and then the other team was forced into Illidan and Sonya. That's not going to be the case here. Panda are going to grab Illidan away, but Tassadar and Sonya are here, and that's a great combo to deal with Illidan.
Oh, that would be beautiful. I would love it. It takes away. Oh, it's great. It's so perfect here from Astral Authority in the end. Unfortunately for Panda Global, you're stuck between a Rock and a Sonya in the end. It's not easy for them to have that first pick choice. Yeah, Sonya is probably harder than a Rock, let's be honest.
Okay, well, they are still at least going to get Rhaegar to go with Illidan. Of course, that has to be what they pick there. They may even do something like Muradin here. Potentially, again, Panda Global plays an Abathur too. I'm not sure that they would want to pick him up at this point, but if they didn't, that is the consideration of bans here. I
don't think it would happen, but I would love to see it. Like an Abba, just out of the gate, let's go. It would be very interesting, because, I mean, when was the last time I saw an Abba that much in proper competitive? It's a rare sight nowadays, but it is cool.
Yeah, cool. And Jason's is great.
Yeah.
You just looked a little confused, so I'm not sure if that's what they're doing. Just furrowing his brow a little bit. Is that Brightwing there that's sitting, or the Fairy Dragon on the computer? That's their lucky Fairy Dragon. They had that at the first regional, too.
You have that Fairy Dragon, right?
I definitely have that.
Oh, I have that Fairy Dragon as well. It's going to be the Muradin choice to kind of round things out. It helps a little bit against Sonya here, considering what she's able to put out, but also it denies it from the potential Astral Authority being sneaky and getting that to deal with Illidan.
Yeah, the reverberation is a big deal for Illidan too, and even the Thunderstrike later on that he can get. So it makes sense to steal him away and not allow Astral to have that as a way of countering.
Saying that, though, I wouldn't mind if Astral Authority just went down the same path they did on Dragonshire and had an Arthas again. I don't mind it too much against this, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, get Frigid wins again.
Right. It's pretty good.
It is. I would like it too. I've been pretty impressed with Collusion's Arthas play this event, and plus it's just Arthas, right? It's the Lich King. He's back. It's freaking cool to see him.
Yeah. And he has a particular gripe against Illidan normally, even in lore terms.
Oh yes, you're the lore master.
Master, I don't know. But I know a little bit. So they've had their 1 or 2 fights in the past when it comes to the Frozen Throne. And we will see now Panda Global just kind of trying to prioritize things. But the Stills for Anaspan is quite... It's as if we predict the future.
It's like it's our job.
Yeah. Oh, well. So... that's a good ban because of everything we just talked about in the past 2 minutes.
It's great. I like that a lot. The drafting here has been great. Now Astral Authority, though, have 2 picks. They have Tassadar Sonya. They're still going to need a support at some point. Sometimes they have been running Brightwing, Tassadar. Sometimes Uther is still even available if they want just Divine Shield plus Tash Shields equals Sonya success.
I'm scared they're going to go Nubarak later down the line.
Why is that scary you?
The thing is, it's so weird to run it against like an Illidan comp. Like, do you deal with Illidan or do you just remove the healer and then try and blow Illidan up? But then there's a potential that Illidan is just diving around and never going to get killed anyway during it. They might. We'll see. ETC. Okay, so that's a no on my theory. I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah, lockdown in general is going to be really nice for Illidan. They want ways of locking him down so that they can take him out before he goes into metamorphosis mode. I would have liked the Cocoon, honestly, for Rhaegar, for the Ancestral Healing, but ETC is still something that they're really comfortable on.
I'm happy it was a no on my theory because it was mixed success yesterday from them, and likewise, I think as much as he is strong, I don't think he's found his full place right now, and I'm not sure if the team as a whole in Astral Authority has entire comfort in him and credibility in his play, but Abathur gets picked up. Loving it.
So the steal away, and that's something that they played earlier. We saw Talking Trees on him.
Yeah.
He is He's been really showing off a lot more. You know, for a while he played a lot of Li Ming. He's played some other things too, Taster and Tyrande, but I'm liking seeing some more heroes from him.
And it was Ultimate Evolution on towards Muradin in his previous game, which means now there's the high likelihood that he would Ultimate Evolution something that is, once again, in a Sonya or ETC, going to be on the front line. So that front line is going to be impenetrable. That is a strong front line that we could see here from Astral Authority, which does give rise to what Panda Global is going to do against it. And a Falstad with Gust is actually a pretty fantastic answer to not only that front line, but ETC as well.
Yeah, they need to make sure that they have interrupts for Mosh Pit specifically, which I think is what you were alluding to there. And they have one pick left. They're down to solo support for Illidan, which is not ideal. You would want like even the Abath or Carapace is enough to help out. Tyrande is still on the table. Tyrande's great for Curse Hollow anyway, because with Pierce on her Owl, then you are able to delay and deny the tribute pickups until your team can get into position. You want some safe delay options, and they don't have a ton, but they do have hammering. I hear some yelling.
I don't know what happened. Something.
Some excitement of some sort.
Sure.
But yeah, so if not Tyrande, what else could they grab here?
Do a Tyrael. I know it's weird. I know it wouldn't really fit too much in this comp, but even that gives him a little extra shield. With Li Ming, who does have that poke potential, not quite at the range of an Owl, but it's still very good to slow down things when it comes to those tributes, as well as, you know, even like, does you get reset off Ultimate Evolution death?
No, it's whatever is up in the bar. So Misha counts and Vikings count, but not Abathur's Ultimate Evolution.
I can't believe I didn't know that, but there you go. I'm glad you do.
Well, the more you know.
It's all good.
One pick left. Now, they're kind of in a weird spot. Do you support with Abathur's, Carapace, and then Tassadar shields? Or do you get another support?
Support? That is actually, you're completely right. That is a weird comp now that I'm looking at it. I would like another support. Tyrande maybe, Hunter's Mark, and Greymane, so it's just Tassadar and Abathur.
Yeah, I was wondering who they would clone, right? Like, yes, they could, like you said, clone one of the frontliners, but generally you have like a damaged target that you are saying, okay, if we're at this point, we can clone. Cloning Greymane is great, you know why?
Yeah.
His trait, you get this trait, you just go into Worgen form. You don't care if it dies. 40% increased attack damage.
The funny thing about all of this as well is that this is becoming a more and more common thing, Abathur and Greymane. Even if you're not Ultimate Evolution on him, even when you're just able to symbiote onto him, he's really strong. He's really strong. And look, with Tassadar Shield as well, this is going to be a Greymane show. And it comes back to what we saw again when we had our previous series between Niventic and Astral Authority. They had Sonya and Greymane. And it's like, what do you kill? What do you actually deal with? Do you deal with Sonya, who's actually ripping you apart, or do you deal with Greymane that's ripping you apart? And there's an Abathur on top of him. That's a difficult choice to make in this video game.
Another double threat composition from Astral Authority. Distract on one side, start dealing damage there, force out the Ancestral Healing, and then Greymane goes in and kills Li Ming or kills Falstad, something. So we'll see how they're able to make that work, though, because it is interesting to just see Tassadar and the Abathur, you know, the shielding that he can provide as your only support for a team, especially a team that will be brawling the way that they want to.
All right, well, we are getting into this. Countdown has begun as we get into game number 2. Astral Authority leads 1-0 at the moment with Dark Chimera on Tassadar, Talking Trees on Abathur, Equinox on Sonya, Killusion on ETC, and Frozen X on Greymane.
And in the red, it will be Panda Global with Huge playing Rhaegar, Jason on Falstad, Psalm playing Li Ming, Cladius on Illidan, and B-Kid playing Muradin. Let's get into game number 2 between Panda Global and Astral Authority.
And I like what you said about the potential of them jumping onto Li Ming here with the composition that they have right now, because now it makes me think, what does Li Ming build? How does she build? There's often times where you see them building very greedy, going for damage, but maybe this will be more teleport emphasized later down the line to make sure she's not going to die from that extreme pressure she could be under.
Yeah, they have a ton of damage too, so maybe not necessarily the glass cannon pick up at 13. Instead, going for Illusionist. Safety first.
Safety first, my friend. Yes, that's true. We are in America. Safety is everything here. Otherwise, you may get sued.
Is it not in other places?
No. Europe's not a safe place in the slightest. Australia is the unsafest place, but Europe's pretty up there.
Well, that's because they have spiders the size of like demi plates.
True. That is true. You got to be careful of that.
Astral Authority tried to go for aggression and take out a tower, but a good response from Panda Global. They have false stats, so they could respond to things more quickly and maybe even turn situations into 2v1s where someone from Astral thought it would be a 1v1. So we'll see Jason looking for a lot of those flies.
And if Panda Global's going to win any game in this series, I actually would think it will be this one with the potential that they have on this map with the choices that they've got as we see this rotation coming around. But Illidan thrives on a map like this because he has so much room to work with. Likewise, Jason, for exactly what you just mentioned, just a great mobility here for them potentially moving forwards.
It's also something you have to think about. There are 2 bosses on Cursed Hollow. So boss control is oh so important. And Panda Global, they have Mighty Gust. But on the other side, Mosh Pit available for Astral Authority. So whoever can control those points, that's going to be a big factor too.
And Falstat's really good at responding to Abathur.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
when he randomly decides to walk out into the middle of nowhere. Now, admittedly, Trees didn't go too far forwards on towers against Naventic before, so maybe our Falstad here won't be able to find too many of those opportunities, but it's still something to consider, and as such, it limits how much Abathur can soak.
Yeah, Abathur and Viking Hunters.
Yes.
That's a Falstad that Zeratul do very well.
Just get him. It's lovely to see those kills come down. Gladius holding his own up towards the top. Collusion, he is rotating constantly here to try and stop this pressure towards bottom.
Yeah, I like that Panda Global, if they can continually just abuse Jason's power to fly, he's not doing something like trying to stack Seasoned Marksman where he needs to be in lane. So if they could make him fly around and all of a sudden push aggressively in that lane, then it just makes Astral try to just respond and play Panda Global's game.
Good cleanup as well. And should have on the other side, it's going to be Rehgar and Li Ming committing to their Giants camp. So Illidan, of course, being up towards the top, it's a little bit hard for him to rotate down and do that alone.
And who wins the lottery off of that? Who gets the better end of the Giant trade? We'll see once the first tribute spawns.
Yeah, and then one team's going to be either Sad Pandas or as high as Astral Authority in this point. It's going to be, Happy Pandas.
All right, the first tribute starting to spawn, and Panda Global got a lot done in that bottom lane. A couple of towers just because of that Li Ming and Falstad siege pressure with having Rehgar down there. But they've got a lot of people in the bottom, and the rotation happened faster for Astral Authority top. So I like that they're just deciding to stay down here, deal damage to the fort, and what can Collusion do? Here comes Greymane. They're at least going to push them off, but that's so much damage to the fort.
Yeah, that was a lot, and all because of exactly what did go down. I mean, Astral Authority, of course, actually got themselves the curse up towards the top, but that commitment does cost them, considering how much damage was done, as you say. So, well, yeah, that's going to continue on for a while.
Maybe Tassadar can change things up. They are trying to protect these Giants so that they can get some damage back on their side, especially after losing a lot on their fort. But at least with Greymane rotating down, they were able to save that fort.
DK comes in for a little bit of cleanup and helping out against Equinox here. Gladius takes a lot of damage, and we'll have to move on away for the moment. Another tribute going up towards the top. Level 7's about to hit for Panda, but they're not too far behind our Astral, so they should be okay with that.
Looking at the position of where the tribute's spawning, it's the defended position for Panda Global, and Sonya has gone pretty aggressively in already to try to push back the members to allow the rest of Astral Authority to funnel in here before they have to take a lot of damage from that. So now the positioning is really quite good for them.
Great play by Psalm even with that little Calamity blink on towards it, knowing that that was there. Knowing
See
that
them
that was
soaking?
there.
They were soaking all of the Li Ming damage.
Yeah.
But Jason off to the side is great to be able to stall that out.
Yeah, doing okay, and he's got Battle Roll there if he ends up needing it. Of course, the big, quite far in there, does Beacon go? And he will be first blood going down. Astral Authority, despite having a little bit of a deficit early on in terms of that experience, they did get themselves that first blood, and still, Tassadar keeping himself alive up towards the top. Rehgar's going to go down from that side. He was very far in. It's a 2-for-1 as Tassadar ends up falling in the end.
That 2-for-1 is really good too, because along with getting more experience off of that, they had Abathur in the bottom the whole time. So that's more experience. The longer they can stall this out without people getting experience with Panda, but Panda have sent people back into the lane, so they want to make sure they lose Li Ming now too.
I wasn't expecting that, because I mean, with Tassadar gone, they don't really have huge amounts of poke to actually deal with that, but so they would have to go in very deep to actually get that poke, and they just abandoned poor Li Ming to allow her to die. It was bit of a shame there for Panda.
Yeah, I think Astral made it look like, okay, fine, you can have this tribute. It's in your defended spot. Just kidding, we see you in lane. We can get back there.
Yeah, that was good. Very, very good. Astral still trying to get hold of these reins, and they're doing very well. 3-for-1 at the moment. trying to pick this up. Yuge might go in. No, it's going to be Cladius going in pretty deep. Good chain heal will land on towards him. Collusion taking some damage, but Equinox will trade out positions. And that shield, so important to make sure he doesn't die. Illidan falls in the process. Frozen X coming in, cleaving down some of these locations, and Parth's armor will fall as well.
Equinox with these Abathur hats are out of control, and they have gotten so many kills off of this, and still they pulled everyone in except Falstad. They're stealing away the bruisers, and now they get the tribute.
That is salt in the wound right there. I didn't expect them to go straight to hard camp, but hey, they're in the vicinity, why on earth not? And we've killed off at least 2 or so of your members. That is fine.
And now they've finally been able to bring down the towers in the gate. Of course, the more structures that you can take down, the more aggressive Abathur can be when you get into those long fights like that.
Despite Astral taking that first win, people still hoping for the Pandas. I mean, you know, a lot of people do think that, you know, Panda Global coming in to this series, especially even the previous one, were some of the favorites going in. But Astral have stepped up, and they are looking still on point here in this game. 5-1 kills.
Yeah, they've been looking very impressive. They're going to have their heroic abilities first, as long as nothing crazy happens in the next couple of seconds, and then they can try to maybe make something happen with that. But Panda are right behind them, so it won't be too long of a window. But hello,
stage dive and leap. Sorry, I kind of interrupted you. I
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's so good. I'm so pumped. They picked it.
It's like
stage dive and leap. This is so cool.
Leap, stage dive is slightly slow in these engagements, but Leap is just going to shut them down in that location for a while, and then when stage dive comes on as well, Astral Authority, they are taking to the skies, literally.
And there it is. There's the stage dive. Equinox in deep. Leaping's already down. Yuge is in trouble. He's trying to ghost wolf away. That power slide follow was fantastic. They're going to try and gust them away there, so they're only losing 1, but they could have lost a lot more during that. That was really well executed by Astral Authority, but gotta say, that gust, very important from Jason. Stage dive and leap. They're going to... Somebody's going to be sad. Somebody's going to be a sad Panda. Yeah. And it might be Li Ming. Yeah, she's not a happy bunny at all. There's lots of animals here. I'll stop with that. They're going to take the boss right off of this curse. And then at the same time now, Panda Global knows that they're going to have to deal with their boss. But I don't think the rotation is going to come around quickly enough to deal with that. So at least they're going to take that as like a compensatory move here. They've left Sonya. It's halfway down. There are nests that are showing this, but I don't think that they could make it here in time for this. But still, a boss with Curse. They have 37 seconds left in the Curse, so that boss is going to obliterate the bottom 4. Falstad's going to fly down, but yeah, it's just him. The top 4 goes down, so they get a boss and probably 2 fourths. Death, Rhaegar, he's going to go down. But that was a super important read for Panda Global. They had to time that out when they did. If it was 5 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds later, that would have been a disaster for Panda Global. So Astral Authority, though, still putting on the pressure, leaving Greymane up to the top. By looks of things, leap on! And oh my god. Gilly, I bet you're having the best time of your life. This is the best game of all time. Oh, so good. Very well done as well. They knew Falstad was in the bottom, and they had taken out Rhaegar, so they knew that not a lot of defense was going to be in mid. And so they went in even though towers and gate were up. They got super aggressive. They don't lose their fort here because of Abathur and the Greymane response to. Falstad loses their fort to the to the boss, and now 3 forts and a boss off the curse. That is a beautiful curse play. Like, I'm not even sure Force here, like for Li Ming as a heroic, was even the right choice. I mean, normally you take it against an ETC because Mosh Pit is going to be a thing, but I think they're going to need some of that damage there, especially even later on. Slows are also quite important if they get to 20 with Temporal Flux. Yeah, but I don't know if she wants to sit still long enough. True. Stage dive and leap. It's like, here's a laser. It's basically like, hey, why don't you jump on me and kill me? Yeah, advertising your position. I don't know. They're already in a really tough spot. They've lost all of their forts. That means Abathur, when they start to get into long tribute fights, he's going to be pushing, trying to get Locust on the keep towers and opening up that for a push later on. I think you've convinced me, actually. I think Forces here is a little bit better, considering what she's going to have to deal with, considering she can't be stood still. Like best of 2 evils. What is that saying? The better of 2 evils? The better of 2, yeah, we can go with that one. I'm really bad at sayings, I'm sorry. I am as well. I'm not as charismatic as some people think I am, trust me. But Equinox going to go in deep here for Jason, and Jason was flying away previously. He's going to try and get away. Oh, the jump pot! And he will go down, but he was lingering a while for there. He was flying and then cancelling them, flying and cancelling, and they hunted him down in the end. They were able to take him out. Might have been questionable, but they got it in the end. And now both teams have those 13 talents, but Astral Authority still in the lead here, being aggressive, stealing mercenary camps, getting the lanes pushed all the way to these towers so that no matter where the tribute spawns, Abathur has a place to push and throw down all of those locusts.
All right, well, at least they can clean this up for the moment. Another trip is going to come up, but I mean, even this one isn't really that impactful at the moment. I would, as Astral Authority, I wouldn't mind just sitting back and soaking 16 at this point, giving up that trip and just playing it that way.
Yeah, we saw super patient play from them in the last game, and I love that we're still seeing this from them again. They're doing exactly what you suggested, and just leaving that, allowing Panda to have one. It's the first one they've been able to get, even, too, and just getting a lot of mercenary pressure and soaking their way to having that talent advantage.
It's a sad story here at the moment for them. It's the first one they've been able to get, but that's because Astral completely let them have it because they know their priorities are elsewhere right now on this map, and I'm not surprised. Look how far Sonya's pushed up. Look how much they have to base just because of Sonya alone in that kind of position, putting on that kind of threat. So very, very difficult. Jason sticking around up to the top. Cheeky guy.
I think, well, he's obviously split soaking, but just being safe.
I like it.
But that fort is pretty low. If he can try to push that up there, but they have to know if rotations are coming in, as Sonya is already moving up, and you see Falstad flying away.
He's not taking any risks anymore. But again, how do you counter the Abathur really in this situation, especially when Trees is sitting back so far? He's not getting as much soak as a usual Abathur, sure, but Panda Global still needs to catch up in experience, so that's why we're seeing these kinds of moves coming out from him, as you say.
Yeah, and Trees defending, keeping that fort alive again up in the top is still important to them because it doesn't give it experience back to Panda Global, so Astral can remain as aggressive as they want here, knowing the fact that Panda has to just sit back because they can't get caught out, they can't get further behind.
Sonya slowly becomes even less killable as Nerves of Steel comes in at 16. So once she gets stars at 20 though, that's what I'm all about. Unless she ends up going for the size, I can't even pronounce it. It's not going to happen.
Ariat Crater?
Yeah, Ariat Crater. Yeah.
I think she'll still do it. Actually, last game she went for Imposing Presence, but there were a lot of auto attackers.
That's
we had
true.
talked about that.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, with the Reina there, you need to be doing that once he's taken his Giant Killer, etc. All of the talents that he's focusing on that auto attack.
Well, there is another tribute in the hands of Astral Authority. The lanes are all on the side of Panda Global, but
boss
it does
timing.
make it a little safer. Yeah, the bosses are here. Makes it a little safer for them to be able to soak up to 16. They're going to have that there, and their boss is up.
They need to do this right now.
Equinox is already here,
yeah,
and Stage Dive is available.
Uh-oh. This is going to get quite scary. Trees has already replicated himself. He knows he's going to be coming in for this as well. His ETC's caught that. Stage Dive can come in, as you say, so this is really scary for B-Kid, as well as the rest of Panda Global. They're going to have to move away. Stage Dive's coming in, but they just want to zone him.
Yeah, they're just trying to zone while everyone moves back up. Here comes Dark Chimera and Frozen X. Everyone is here. Talking Trees is done with the clone. Yeah, as long as they can push them off.
Yeah, slow this down. Just don't fight it. They were doing the boss a little bit themselves. We're Astral Authority. They don't need to do it. Take the fight, go on a beacon, and get him before the Ancestral's able to hit. There's the leap forward, catching two, pushing on some pressure. Metamorphosis as well as Gus get popped to try and disengage. I don't think Astral Authority need to continue this. They've already done enough.
Yeah, a Tribute spawning, and Abathur is there. Talking Trees is grabbing that. The boss has been leashed. It's back to full health, but still with Muradin down. The rest of the members of Astral feeling comfortable and okay with being able to grab this because this whole time a boss was pushing in the bottom.
Yeah, yeah. The timing was perfect on it because the thing that triggered all of this is Astral Authority was absolutely precise on their respawn of their boss.
Immediate.
And because Panda Global wasn't instantly on towards theirs, those things time out badly, and of course, you know, Stage Dive is kind of good for this situation as well.
This is the third time that Astral Authority has stolen these bruisers, and that is not a great feeling when you're on Cursed Hollow and you keep getting your bruisers stolen away from you, because it's really close to your base. It's like, come on.
The map is blue. Like, that's how it is. The map is blue, and unfortunately, Pandas only like the color red, it seems, in this game, but it's not working out too well for them. They're gonna lose a keep. There is no two ways about it while they're cleaning up that boss.
And this is beautifully done here to know that they will respond to the boss and make sure they lose a keep either way. They're going down to the bottom one now, but the boss is done. And Astral Authority not with the 20 advantage. Might be in trouble. There's the aggressive fly. Jason gets cleansed just to make sure he can do it, but has to get back. There's not all of the members here.
They're not even they're not even dying off in this fight. Frozen X is a little bit low. He gets the shields from Tassadar now, who comes in. Force Wall. B-Kid gets split, it gets put in, and he will Dwarf Toss away. Trees is slowing everything down. He doesn't care.
That's so good.
Yeah.
They had to deal with him because he's Sonya with 20% increased attack damage. They have to deal with him in the back line, and that let everybody from Astral Authority leave.
This has been a precise game.
Series.
A precise series.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. And with Astral Authority here against Panda Global, they have not missed a beat. And they go back to playing PvE, and why on earth not? Team Red Team is cursed at the moment. They're going to be pushing down these lanes. They're going to have to deal with it. And level 20 is about to hit for Astral Authority once again.
Oh, Jason uses barrel roll, slows down with the hammering. But here comes the members. Collusion's going to power slide in. He has the symbiote.
That's a very early ancestral heal, but they needed to do something to try and keep him alive. But man, look at how much damage he actually took. And actually, Equinox is taking a lot there. He's trying to whirlwind to safety, and he will keep himself alive for just a little bit longer, but not much longer, as that is going to be 2 kills going down in the price of Li Ming. Here comes Metamorphosis as well, going on towards Frozen X, and he will go down. That is the best time that Panda Global has had so far. And maybe they can try and mount something off of that, but they've still got a lot of room to make up.
Why did they go there? They weren't 20. I guess they just wanted to make some use out of the curse. Can Dark Chimera get out of this? He shields himself. There is the dimensional shift.
Come on.
Clay, seal it in. But there's still a fort.
Yeah,
all right, he makes it back to safety, but still 3 people down just as they're about to get 20. Panda Global stood behind, but they really, really needed those kills.
Yes, they did. All right, so Ignore Pain on the way now for Sonya. If they force a fight, well, it's actually very difficult for them to force a fight now before Panda Global actually gets 20, considering. So Panda Global, that's their opportunity. Now that they're going to be equal talents, can they mount something here? But they're still under a lot of pressure. What are we on in terms of boss timings is something that I'm kind of curious about as well. We'll see.
We can check that.
55 seconds on the one at the bottom, so those will be impactful soon as well.
Collusion has picked up one of my favorite named talents in the game, which is Crowd Pleaser, the upgrade to Stage Dive, which increases the radius, and then the more heroes that you hit with that, the cooldown is reduced.
Yes.
So basically you hit a bunch of heroes and you can do it almost endlessly. So I'm excited to see how he's able to make that work. So we're definitely at least going to get one more before the end of the game.
Oh yeah, it's a really cool talent to see, and we very rarely get to see it in competitive. So nice to see Collusion picking this up. So far they've made this composition work, and they know bosses. Look, this is the positioning that I'm talking about for Panda Global. They know that that boss is about to come up towards the bottom after losing that boss before. But at the same time, this rotation by Astral Authority, they've baited them into it. They're going to take a free keep.
This is so good. They get a second keep, and now once tributes start spawning, they're going to have catapults pushing in 2 lanes. There's an Abathur. The boss is up, but the rotation has already come in from Panda. There's the leap.
Explosion on towards Jason. He goes down before Ancestral hits him once again. Panda Global trying to push this back, and Metamorphosis has been popped for Cladius, but he can't continue that on. Here comes that Crowd Pleaser with the stage dive, but Collusion just gets out of there for a moment after being pushed away by the repulsion at level 20. They didn't want any part of Collusion during that.
There's that Greymane ultimate evolution we talked about, how dangerous it can be, but it did, Panda Global were able to get away in time to not start to get under the full force of damage from that, especially after losing Falstad. But the boss is available, and RNG favoring them with the tribute too.
I love Astral's decision making. It's like, okay, so we time it out perfectly to take it. In the first instance, great. We time it out perfectly to then exploit our opponents who were trying to kind of meta us in that instance. As that Ancestral heal will hit on towards B-Kid, but now they're going to continue to take this fight and try and push them away.
Right, so lots of shielding here available for Astral Authority, not only from Carapace and the Tasker shields, but we have the availability for Ignore Pain. There is the stage dive, and Psalm is trying to get out of here, gets cleansed, trying to get away, but Collusion's going to go down, but so does Rhaegar's a 1-for-1 in this fight.
And Greymane's already fallen as well, so that's 2-for-1 at the moment. Equinox will end up falling here. Very difficult for him to get out here. Despite the fact having Ignore Pain, despite having all Nerves of Steel and everything, he falls. 3-for-1 at the moment. They need to make something happen from this right now. Look how far Abathur is forward, trying to do a little bit of pressure, but a boss ideally would be great for them here. Maybe 2, but I wouldn't even mind them pushing with this boss to try and get as much as possible during it. It's a little bit of a tight window, though.
It almost feels like Astral Authority is feeling the nerves of almost being able to win this or something. The fights are not quite going as they were earlier, but Panda Global also maybe finding their stride, realizing it's the end. Double Tassadar.
All right.
How's this going to work?
I guess to delay for as long as possible so they can't push with this boss is the way to go here. Try and make that work. As Trees look at him, they're just ignoring him. They don't even care.
It's because he's a Tassadar clone.
Right.
Okay,
It's very rare we see that.
Jason's still going to go back. So is Som. And so they are going to go back and go make sure to clear off their base. The shields are almost down because of catapults, and then they can go for the second boss. But that boss has a fort in the way still.
Yeah,
there's still 2 out of 3 forts up for Astral.
Yeah, there's cushions in front of that one. It's not going to get too much done, even though these bosses are very strong and healthy.
They are late, yeah.
But I think that still, Panda Global, it's got a little way to go. At least they've got the Curse tribute on their side here while they're trying to rival this. But look, it's going to be ETC cleaning up towards the bottom. They might try and challenge this. Something's quite far away, though. I think it's difficult.
I don't know.
Are you going to go? They're going to go?
Stage dive. They don't get in. The money guys pulls them away. They get the boss, but can they win? If they win the fight right here, then the game is just done. It doesn't matter about the boss. That's huge lead.
Big damage coming in. Chimera trying to shield as many as possible. And the Ancestral Healer will go on to Cladius, but it's not enough. 2 focus were already down. As Huge end up falling. And now Trees at the front as well, trying to block all of this out. Cladius here trying to retreat away while Sam throws in some damage, but Astral could easily just finish from this. Yeah, they could. They've already taken out Falstad and Rhaegar. No heals, and one of their big damage dealers not here. They're trying to take out Cladius. They're going really after Cladius. There's a force wall. Beacon is still here. I don't know if they can finish. This is going to be quite tight because Sam is there and he's able to do a lot of damage here. Force repulsion as well. Are they going to try and... I think they're going to get it now. And look at it. Yeah, this is late game. They have a lot of damage here. Very, very close to actually not falling, but there it goes. That core is going to die off. And that is going to be Astral Authority marching on into the round of 4 here and keeping their hopes for summer alive. It's a big deal for Astral Authority to be able to take out Panda Global twice in a row. And Panda Global, this is the second time this has happened to them in groups. They had to face Naventic twice in the first regional and lost to them twice, and now having to do that to Astral. Look how happy they are. Hugs from the teammates. Fantastic wins. Really good, strong wins there. I mean, towards the later stages of that game, it was a little bit more towards Panda Global's favor, but by that time, when you're in those late stages of the game, if you've taken too much structural damage, it's very difficult to recover from those kind of positions. Oh yeah, especially when an Abathur is added to that. There's already catapults in 2 lanes. You add an Abathur, and you know, even if you're not taking damage to your structures from a late game Abathur, if Trees is playing safely or maybe being more concerned about his ultimate evolutions and symbiotes, it's still like the fear, so you want to fight fast. It was a little bit of a shame there for the coordination of Panda Global. It was a good fly-in, but they were all wanting to focus down Sonya. Unfortunately, Killusion was the only one caught by that. And a second highlight here, even though we're in the same location, to see that actually Panda Global, you know, had some good fights throughout all of this, considering. Yeah, especially once they got into the late game, they had a lot of talents that was helping them out. They started to get coordinated. It's just unfortunate they got so behind. It was so late in the game. It was so late, unfortunately, for Panda Global. So commiserations to them, of course, being eliminated. And that stage dive just a little bit late to the party in the end there for Killusion. But that leap. That leap. Oh. That is why I love leap, friends. Very well done there by Astral Authority. A 2-0 victory. So we are going to head over to the stage with Jake, who is with Astral.
Hello, friends. I'm Solid Jake here with the one, the only Equinox. Congratulations, man. You have qualified out of the group stage into the playoff. I mean, it's got to feel good, right?
Yeah, it feels amazing. I've never been a part of the top 4 in like any of the lands, so this is a pretty big milestone for me. I'm pretty happy. Really happy with how the team performed.
All right, so let's talk about game number 1, Equinox, because obviously you busted out the Tracer, you made it look brilliant, you dominated that game. I mean, where do you think Tracer sits as a hero? Because we're not seeing a lot of teams playing that hero.
Tracer fits best when you have a support like Tass or Abathur. Like, you have to have some sort of help to keep you protected and just help you burst. Like, let you be able to survive or help you burst. Abathur is probably the one I prefer the most because just fun. Like, get a lot of burst. So I think Tracer's definitely one of the top heroes right now if you just play her in her strengths.
All right, well, going into game 2, they banned out the Tracer, and you guys ended up doing the Heroic Leap stage dive combo. Did you plan this from the beginning?
No, we didn't. We planned on going Sonya Tass, and we were going to go into our triple support comp that we did a long time ago against Tempo in the qualifiers with Lily and shit. So we ended up just saying, like, we went Abathur, because we thought they were going to go Abathur. We banned Sylve, they banned Arthas, and we were like, they're going to go Abathur, so we'll just take it. So we go Abathur and ETC, and then at the end we were like, we don't have the damage without anything, so he said, just go Gray Main. Do double Gray Main, leap, stage dive, just kill him.
Well, it worked out, and once again, congratulations. Good luck in the playoffs, and we'll see you tomorrow. Guys, we're going to throw to a quick commercial break to set up for Group B. We've got 3 more matches coming at you, so stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.